Hey, what's up guys? It's Nick from Fit Futures here with yet another answer to yet another question. Today's question comes from Dante in Auckland. Nick, I work with a football team, but our warm-ups have become stale. The players are finding them a little boring. What do you suggest? Well, I've experienced this exact same thing with my player group at Bohemian Celtic Football Club, the reserve side that I work with there. Now, what we felt is that we wanted it to be consistent. So with trainings and match days, we tried to roll out the same warm-up, keep it consistent and make sure that things weren't chopping and changing too much, so that at least when the guys turned up, they could switch on and they knew exactly what was expected of them and they could just roll the warm-up out and then they'd be prepared for the match. And then what we found is we hit a little bit of a mid-season slump and some results started to go a little bit against us. Performance wasn't quite there and we could sense that there was a little bit of a disconnect during the warm-up. And I spoke to our head coach about it, who happens to be my younger brother, and I said, hey, listen, I don't sense that the guys are ready to go. And so I went away and we thought about it and we decided that we would change things up a little bit and just not necessarily change what we were doing, because what we were doing is fine. With a warm-up, typically you want to follow the ramp protocol, so we want to raise the body temperature and the muscle temperature, we want to activate the muscles, we want to mobilize the joints, and we want to do some form of potentiation, which for us is some jumps, some sprints, interacting with the football so that we're at match speed when the referee demands that we take the pitch. So it's not necessarily what we were doing, but how we were doing it. So I would set up a 20-meter zone, and I would have a cone here, I would have a cone 5 meters ahead, I would then have different colored cones, and I'd have a 10-meter zone, and then another 5-meter zone at the end. So they would jog, they would do 10 meters worth of warm-up activities, and then they would do another 5-meter jog, and then they'd just walk back around, and they would just do that in a little circuit. And I thought, right, cool, how can we change this up? So what I did is I had them doing the exact same thing, but I had it in a 30 by 30 grid, and I made sure that there was plenty of footballs in the grid, and I had them jogging around and interacting with the football and passing and moving, all things that they will be doing when they take the pitch. And then I was just calling out little activities for them to do when they didn't have the football. Because if we've got 15 or 16 guys warming up, 5 or 6 footballs, there's about a good 7 or 8 guys that won't have a football, and that is when they can do their skipping, their karaoke, they can open and close the gate, they can stretch out the hamstrings, they can go through our Romanian deadlifts and single leg stuff in preparation for match day. And then I finished with a series of sprints in a separate grid, so that I actually took them away from where they'd been working for the last quarter of an hour and then put them through their potentiation stuff somewhere else, somewhere closer to the pitch. And I found that we actually got some good results out of that, until it went stale again 2 weeks later and I had to change it up a third time. But remember, the key is, it's not necessarily an issue with what you are rolling out. It may just be that the deliveries become stale, and there's numerous ways that you can deliver the content. So it's just about being creative, setting up the cones differently, using different colored cones, just alternating it a little bit, changing things up ever so slightly. So Dante, give that a go and see how you get on with your fellas. And to the viewers, if you want to see more, click the link, see what we've done previously, and keep an eye out for future content. And until next time, guys, as always, please keep well.